Welcome to my channel. Today I'm super excited because I'm going to be doing some Halloween pink ombre nails using acrylic powder, neon acrylic powder. And the first thing that I'm going to be doing is just pushing back my cuticles with this pumice stone. And I believe I purchased this cuticle pusher from Temu. It was about, I think, $149 for two. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and grab a drill bit that's going to help push my cuticles up. And I'm going to go ahead and be doing that to the rest of my nails. And this just helps me lay my acrylic application a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit so you're able to see how this cuticle bit helps me lift the cuticles up. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and clean my nails. And inside this spray bottle is like 1% alcohol and the rest water. I don't like using alcohol because it dries my cuticles super bad and I don't like that. And I'm going to be doing the same thing to the rest of my nails. Alright, so usually at the end of the video, I do pop my nails right off. But if I really love my nails, then I just leave them on a little longer. I usually don't add oil for the pop-off method, but I am adding oil because sometimes it is hard to pop them right off. And they take a little longer and a little more effort for me to remove the nails after the video. So all I'm doing is just rubbing the cuticle oil around my nail beds and my cuticles. So for the pop-off method, I add top coat. Sometimes I add matte or glossy. It doesn't really matter. I think matte works a little better. And after that, I'm going to go ahead and cure it for 60 seconds. Alright, so now that I have my nails prepped for the pop-off method, I'm going to go ahead and use Honey Fan's nail tips. And I believe these are super long non-C-curve coffin nails. And the first thing that I'm going to be doing is just fitting the nail tip from side to side. Make sure it fits nice and perfect. And I'm going to be using this nail glue from Nail Supply Glamour. And I just add it on the free edge of my natural nail and then hold the fake nail tip down until it dries up. And sometimes when the nail is too wide, I just go ahead and cut the corners of it from the nail tip. And then I just glue that on and hold it until it dries. And I'm going to be doing the same thing to the rest of my nails. Alright, so now I'm going to grab my hand file. And this is a washable, disinfectable, professional hand file. And I'm going to file from sidewall to sidewall, make sure that the nail tips are not hanging from the side. And I'm holding on to that nail with my index finger, make sure I don't pop this nail tip off. Since I do have a top layer of top coat, and these are pop-off nails, and I did add oil. These are going to be easy, like these can easily pop off. So I have to be extremely careful, and I have to make sure that I don't add too much pressure. Alright, so I'm going to be doing the same thing to the rest of my nails, and I have to make sure that I file both sides evenly because I don't want to over file. So I also have to be extremely careful because, like I said, I don't want to add too much pressure on the nail tip when I file, because since I added a layer of cuticle oil, these nails are like super sensitive and they can pop off any second. Alright, so like I said, the nail tips kept popping off, so I probably won't use cuticle oil ever again. So instead of, usually when the nail tip pops off, I add another layer of top matte coat, cure it, and then add the nail glue. But this time I didn't add any top coat. I just went ahead and added glue right on the free edge of my natural nail, and then added the nail tip, and that's exactly what I did. And they stayed on throughout the whole entire process of my acrylic application. So yeah, you guys, I did the cuticle oil did give me a hard time. The nails just kept popping off. I mean, it did work. The whole point was for my nails to come off a lot easier at the end of the video, but they didn't help me throughout the video because they kept popping off. Alright, so finally, after gluing my nails on, I went ahead and just grabbed a pair of scissors and started cutting from the middle. I always try to cut from the middle if I'm going to do stilettos, but I wasn't too sure what shape I wanted these. I just know I wanted these to be a little thinner. And in the picture, in the sketch that I drew, I originally wanted all my nails to be stilettos. But since the nail tips kept popping off, I was like afraid to do that because I might just pop them right off again. So I decided to do the index finger and the ring finger stilettos and the rest ballerina. Alright, so I'm finally finished and I made those coffin into ballerina, and I didn't want to show you guys the process because like I said, the nails continue to pop off. They gave me such a hard time and I just wanted to finish. And now I'm going to be using this Odorless Acrylic Monomer, one of my favorites. Right now, this is my favorite monomer. I always change it up. I love to try new things. And I usually add acetone into the Odorless Monomer to help the acrylic set faster and help me control the acrylic beads. But this time, I'm not going to add it because, I don't know you guys, I don't know if it's because I'm getting better at using this Odorless Monomer or because of the acrylic. Alright, so I'm going to be using Honeyfan's acrylic brush in the size 16, and this brush came pinched. It gives you an option whether you want it pinched or not, and it doesn't charge you. And now I'm going to go ahead and add my monomer into my dapping dish with the help of my acrylic brush. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and start grabbing medium beads and work with medium beads first. Because like I said, usually with this monomer, the acrylic it makes your acrylic super watery. And it takes a while to dry. It takes the acrylic a while to dry. But with this acrylic, it's just not as watery. So yeah, you guys, I really do love this acrylic. But with every acrylic is different. Now I'm grabbing another medium bead and then just brushing it upwards and just try to control it as much as possible because I don't want to spend too much time filing. I'm scared of filing now, so I'm trying to do it as perfect as I can to make sure that I don't file too much. And yeah, you guys, I'm going to be doing the same thing to the rest of the nails. Alright, so I'm going to grab another medium bead and lay it right on top of the first bead. And just try to control it as much as I can and brush it down slowly, and always cleaning my brush because if not, the acrylic gets stuck on my brush and it just pulls the rest of the acrylic with it, and it'll just like smear and make a mess. And again, I'm using another small bead now to lay it near the cuticle area and just brushing it down slowly. Alright, after adding the acrylic to the rest of my nails, I went ahead and ran the acrylic nails under some lukewarm water to help the acrylic dry faster. And now I'm going to go ahead and grab my hand file and start filing from side to side. Make sure everything is nice and even and file under the nail. Alright, so after hand filing and e-filing, I went ahead and cleaned my nails, and now it's time for the artwork. I'm going to go ahead and be using this nail art brush, which is extra large and it's 2-in-1 from Not Polish. And I'm also going to be using Poochie's white gel. Alright, so before I start any artwork, I'm going to go ahead and protect the nails with this top matte coat from Poochie's. And I'm going to add a layer and then cure it for 60 seconds. In case I make any mistakes, I'm able to just wipe that off. Alright, so this is how they look after I cured them. And now I'm going to go ahead and grab a pink gel. I wanted to do a airbrush effect on my nails. So I just grabbed the gel and lay it right on top of this rock. Alright, and now I'm going to grab this spongy and kind of use that to get that airbrush effect on my nails. And I'm just basically, this is my first time doing this, so I wasn't too sure how to do it. And I wasn't even too sure if I was going to like it or not. Because I didn't want to use my airbrush, you guys. The one I have, I don't like, so I'm going to have to purchase another one. So yeah, you guys, to be honest, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just thought that I can do the airbrush or the airbrush effect like this. So I ended up not liking it, and that was like a big no, you guys. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a strategy. So I ended up just removing it. Alright, so on my sketch, I originally wanted to do it like that, but that didn't work. So my next step was just to start on the nail web. And I'm going to be using my line of neon acrylic powders, and these are highly pigmented. And this is exactly why I love to use my acrylic powders. And I'm going to be using this pink flamingo and this Nemo orange with this white Poochie's gel. Alright, so the first thing I do is I start loading my nail art brush with gel. Make sure everything is nice and good and ready. And now I'm just going to go ahead and start by getting near the cuticle area and try to draw a straight line and kind of try to make it like fade away at the end, at the very end. So I'm going to go ahead and do that again. Make sure I try to fade it as I go down. And I know it's hard, but that's what I try to do. And that was my strategy. And again, make sure everything is nice and good. And I do hold my breath, you guys, because I do shake a lot. So I make sure everything is nice and straight, and that looks good. Alright, since this nail is a little bit too thin and there's stilettos, I'm not gonna try to draw too much webs. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it like that and draw 3 webs or 3 lines of those webs, and then just try to give those webs enough space so they won't look all crowded, and then just draw kind of like like a round circle kind of on the web to get that web effect. That's basically how I picture it. So yeah, and I try not to grab too much gel on the tip because then I can just make those webs thick and smear all around the nail. Alright, so now I want to show you guys how many seconds I leave my nails in there. And a lot of people ask me this, but it really depends on how thick you lay the gel on the nail or the type of gel you're using. Everything depends on the type of product you're using. Sometimes you have to have cure it for 30 seconds, sometimes 15 seconds, depending on the artwork too. But the point is not to cure the entire gel that you're putting in the UV lamp, because then the pigments won't stick to the gel. Alright, so after curing it, I think it was for about 10 seconds, I'm going to go ahead and grab my acrylic neon powder with this brush and kind of just tap it onto the place where I want that color to stick. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I have enough powder. Don't be stingy with the powder, because whatever the brush touches is just going to stick. And if you it's kind of like tape. If you stick it, the stickiness goes away. So make sure wherever that brush touches, make sure it has enough pigment. So yeah, you guys, like I said, one time there was a set that I did and they wanted me to do little stars, like those little small stars with pigments, and I had to cure that for 5 seconds. So it all depends on the type of artwork you're doing. I had to cure it for 5 seconds, pull the hand out, and then add 2 colors of pigments, and then stick the hand into the UV lamp to full cure it. Alright, so now I'm grabbing this small brush to kind of look like these 2 colors are going to fade in together. And I'm just slowly brushing it downwards. And like I said, you have to be extremely careful because this can go south real quick. Alright, so now I'm going to grab this neon acrylic powder and dip my brush into that powder and just, again, make sure I grab enough powder and just tap it onto those places where I want that gel to stick. And I've had times where I don't cure the gel properly, and when I add the powder, you're able to see that I smash the gel and the gel looks like a raisin. So you have to be extremely careful. You have to get used to a certain gel that you use. And that literally happened with the regular gel. This is a thick gel and I really do like it. So I do recommend this gel for the pigments. But if you don't have it, just use whatever you have. That's how I started. And now I'm going to go ahead and full cure this gel. And like I said, just try to practice to get used to it. I mean, every gel is different and every art is different. So it just depends on what you're doing and how much gel you lay on the artwork. So it's something that you have to practice on and get used to it. So I'm going to go ahead and full cure this. Alright, I just want to make sure you guys understand how I do it. So maybe this can help you. Because I know I've had a lot of girls ask me the exact same thing. And I had the same problem. So now I'm just going to go ahead and just wipe that powder off or brush it off with that brush. And you guys, I'm not going to lie. I realized that this color like that, just how it looks right now, it looked really, really nice. And I was like, what the hell? Did I just discover something? And I was like, no way, this looks really good. Because I was about to wipe it off with a lint-free paper towel and that spray bottle that I have. And I was like, no way, this looks really, really good. So this is what I decided to do. Okay, so I decided to grab that same brush that I was using and kind of just brush that leftover powder and kind of just bring it down and see how that looked. So you guys, I was like, no way, oh my god, like I can't believe I discovered this. Like I've seen people do this, but I thought that they used like, or I don't know what strategy they used, to be honest, but I was like, no way, I discovered this, you guys. And I was like, oh my god, you know what, I'm gonna do my nails like that. So that airbrush effect didn't work, but you guys, this worked. And sometimes where you make mistakes is where you learn something new, and I was like super, super excited. Alright, so I decided to add a layer of top coat, you guys. And I was so excited that I didn't realize that I grabbed the matte top coat. And for those of you that don't know, if you add matte top coat on top of any artwork, it will smear the heck out of your artwork. And luckily it didn't, but as you can see, that's how pigmented my acrylic powder is. So I was lucky that that didn't smear, and I was just like, oh my god, this looks amazing, and I almost messed it up. So alright, so my next step was like, maybe I should do the same thing on my ring finger, and I went ahead and did it again. Alright, but this time I added the glossy top coat just to make sure that the artwork doesn't smear. Because like I said, if you didn't know this, if you add top matte coat on any artwork, there's a chance that it's going to smear. I've had that problem, so I don't want you to have it. And that's why I'm telling you, be super careful. After any artwork, make sure that you lay top glossy gel, and then after that top glossy gel, then you can add that top matte coat just to be on the safe side. Alright, so this is a sketch that I drew, and those little circles were actually the airbrush. And now it's time to draw that what is it, a scary face or the ghost face from that one movie. And I didn't want to draw it black because it's gonna just take the fun part out of those pigment colors. So I decided to do it a little different and just add pigments onto that face. So I was going to use the same colors, orange and pink. And now I'm just grabbing my dotting tool to create the face. And yeah, you guys. Alright, so I didn't really practice on the face, but I've seen on TikTok that a girl like used the dotting tool to kind of, do the face. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and half cure this. And like I said, I'm showing you exactly how I do it, just so you can see that depending on the artwork and on the type of gel you use, it's going to depend on how long you're going to leave that hand in the UV lamp. And now I'm going to go ahead and grab that powder. I think I'm going to do it orange and the outside pink. So I'm going to add enough powder in here. Make sure I'm not stingy with that powder. And make sure I tap, tap, tap so the pigments can stay on that gel. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and fully cure this. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and grab a lint-free paper towel to wipe that off. And as you can see, the pigment is still on, but you still want to be on the safe side. And I noticed that there was still powder around it, so I just cleaned around it. And now I'm going to go ahead and grab the gel once again and load my art brush. And then just start adding that gel around the face. Alright, so now I got to make sure that the gel is nice and even on both sides and all around that area. And make sure that I hold my breath. I really do hold my breath because like I said, I do like start shaking when I get nervous. I start like my hand starts shaking and it doesn't normally shake. So yeah, you guys, I get like super nervous when I'm doing the artwork because I try to do it as perfect as I can. So that's why I hold my breath. And maybe that's why I start shaking. But yeah. All right. So now that I've completed that, I'm going to go ahead and stick that in the UV lamp. And after that, I'm going to go ahead and add the pigment powder, the acrylic neon pigment powder. And just make sure I get enough powder on that brush and kind of tap it onto the half cured gel. And just tap, tap, tap. Make sure everything is nice and blend. And I decided to, since I originally wanted to get that airbrush effect with the gel, since that didn't work, I decided to do it with the acrylic pink powder. And as you can see, I'm just like brushing it and try to fade it in onto my nails. And like I said, this is my first time doing this, but it was looking very, very nice. And like I said, I was just blending that in. I wasn't too sure how I wanted to do it, so to be honest, I was just going with the flow. I was on fire. But yeah, you guys, I'm just gonna go ahead and blend all that in all the way to the top, all the way to the, near the cuticles, and basically all over the nail. But as I go down, I want to like kind of make it fade away so I didn't add too much pink pigment. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and grab my dotting tool and use the small side of those little circles to draw the eyes and the mouth, which is like extremely easy, and make those eyes a little long. And then I automatically cure that because I noticed that the gel was kind of like smearing or just moving from the position I left it. Alright, you guys, so far this is looking like extremely pretty. And now I decided to do the same thing on my little pinky. I decided to blend the orange acrylic powder from the top going down. So I'm going to go ahead and just blend. Alright, so after blending, I added the pink acrylic powder and blended some more. And like I said, I discovered this, but I know I've seen other people do it. I just didn't know the strategy that they used. But all I added was top coat on top of my acrylic nails, a matte top coat, cured it for 60 seconds, and then added these pigments. And so far the pigments are, attaching onto that nail. And then after that, I went ahead and added another layer of glossy top coat. You have to be extremely careful because, like I said, after any artwork, do not use matte top coat because there is a chance that the gel will smear or the pigments will smear. So after this, I'm going to go ahead and add a layer of glossy top coat, cure that for 60 seconds, and then add a layer of matte top coat. Alright, so now that I added the glossy top gel, I'm going to go ahead and use this Poochie's matte top gel and lay it right on top of my nails and do one layer and cure it for 60 seconds. Alright, so I hope you guys learned something today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.